middle of the show, he just takes butter and starts putting it all over Nuno?
Yeah, if you force Nuno to do it via bet.
Oh, forcing, that's different.
We'd all get in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin's in
I'm
his
on
home
Zoom,
studio.
though, so yeah, I'm fine. I can just press leave Zoom.
Yeah, how could we get in trouble? We aren't on the premises. We can't stop it.
All right, so then.
And we're not participating.
You're accomplices.
Yeah,
you're
you guys
it.
look like you're in charge. You're on TV.
So are they.
Yeah, and so are you.
Yeah.
Again, I got the leave Zoom button right here. I'm good.
If Nuno agrees to be buttered, then Evan definitely has to agree to get frosted tips.
Yes.
Nuno, take one for the team. Come on. Let's get buttering.
It's going to be a pass because I don't know what I would bet or want to bet and think that I'm so confident in that bet actually winning to being like, yeah, butter me up, baby. Like, that's not going to happen.
All right, check. We got that one, Pat. We'll use that one.
Yeah, butter me up, baby. Nuno, a bet perhaps with your New York Knicks.
What, that they're not winning the title, Smalls?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like I'm confident in that. No, but also.
No, but Nuno, listen to this. If you make that bet, if they don't win, you're in the clear. If they do win, yeah, you get buttered up, baby. But guess what? Your team won a championship, so who cares?
Yes, it's
You're
a
saying
Nuno can't
reverse it,
lose.
basically.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
it's
a
a
good
Nuno
idea.
can't lose. Because even if you get buttered up, who cares? Your team won a championship.
Yeah, we butter him up in like a Patrick Ewing jersey, and he goes to the parade.
Perfect.
It's like wearing just a Ewing jersey, no sleeves, with butter all over him, and he has to go to the parade.
Come on, Nuno.
When my team has won championships, the day after your team wins a championship
You
is
should
the
get buttered
greatest
up.
day in your sports life. You're still basking in the glow of your championship. You're reading everything that was written about your team and the journey to get there. You're watching all the clips of them celebrating. You're on cloud nine. You don't care what happens that next day, including getting buttered up on national TV.
All right, Nuno, what do you think? If the Knicks win it all this year, you get Patrick Ewing jersey, buttered up, go to the parade. Deal?
Let me think about it.
Oh, so he does think there's a chance for his Knicks.
Wow, interesting. All right, well, yesterday we learned something. We learned that the Bengals are not going to franchise tag Trey Hendrickson. He will now become an unrestricted free agent. And what this means for the bigger picture with the Bengals, we're going to get to in a second, but I do want to read you a tweet that I think is pretty dead on from Ben Solak, our teammate, ESPN NFL analyst, who tweeted this. Truly one of the worst managed contract situations in our living memory. And I think he's right. I mean, if you think about what Trey Hendrickson was, he was a great player for them. He wanted a contract extension. They wouldn't give it to him. He holds out, right? They give him a bump in pay for 1 year. Then he basically doesn't play because of injury last year. They don't trade him at any point, obviously. And now you get to this point where it's just like, all right, you can go. I mean,
and we'll get nothing for you.
And we'll get nothing for you. Kevin Clark, you have a podcast. This is football. Omaha Productions, available on the ESPN app and wherever podcasts are found. This is not football. This is not what football teams
It's
do.
Bengals football.
This is awful. Is Solak right? One of the worst managed contract situations in our living memory.
He's half right because there's other examples, and most of them are with the Bengals. Jesse Bates is a good example. The safety who's now in Atlanta. There was no expectation they were ever going to sign him. And that's part of why I was surprised that T. Higgins ended up signing. And T. Higgins, by the way, could have been on this list as well had he not taken what amounts to a very team-friendly deal last year to stay with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, who they actually did prioritize keeping, both of those guys. But the Bengals just don't care about spending a lot of money outside of that. They just really don't. And the Jesse Bates thing, they basically convinced him to come back for one more year and not hold out and just say, hey, you can go to free agency next year. It's a little baseball-y in a league where you're supposed to retain your free agents, sign them as soon as they show any signs of life, frankly. Obviously, the Eagles do it best, but everybody else does it except maybe the Cowboys. But even the Cowboys tend to get their guys under contract, albeit at a higher price tag, closer to when they reach free agency. The Bengals, with the exception of Burrow and Chase, they operate like the Tampa Bay Rays, and it's incredibly frustrating if you're a Bengals fan. I've always said, like, geography is destiny for quarterbacks, and Joe Burrow's going to have to deal with this his entire career. The Brown family is not changing. Bengals front office is not changing. They do the things the way they want to do it, and that's going to put Joe Burrow at a competitive disadvantage for his entire career.
And that is where we go, right? We just because what is this going to do for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals that he gets the 2 wide receivers he wants there? They're there. They're amazing. Chase and Higgins. Nobody's doubting how great they are, but that's a lot of money in one position, 2 guys. Now your best defensive player is gone. And Joe Burrow has had all these kind of weird statements of is he retiring? Is he asking out? What is he doing? Adam Schefter, senior NFL insider, was on with us yesterday here on Unsportsmanlike. You can go back on the podcast and listen after 7:30 a.m. Eastern when he joined us. And he talked about the idea of what happens to Burrow if they miss the playoffs again this upcoming season.
I expect Joe Burrow to be in Cincinnati, and then I think this year becomes a referendum on what he wants to do after this year. I think it's a year by year. I think if he's happy in Cincinnati, all is good. I think if there's another rocky year and there's more losing, I think all options are on the table.
And they should be. Mm-hmm. I've said this on this show before. I'll say it again. There's nothing worse in life than wasted potential. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to see Joe Burrow waste his potential because he is great. He's not just good, he is great. What do the Bengals pay him, $275 million? It's not enough because think about the way we talk about the Bengals and the way we should talk about the Bengals. They bungled this Trey Hendrickson situation so badly. It's bad. You get nothing for him when you could have gotten a lot of value from a great player, and you didn't do it. And now he walks away with nothing. Joe Burrow, yes, has sustained a lot of injuries, and that has contributed to the fact that the Bengals have missed the playoffs 3 seasons in a row. However, the organization around him has been dysfunctional. They've made bad decisions. I understand why they give him the power that they give him, because when we talk about the Bengals, we talk about their potential to compete for championships because of him, because of Joe Burrow. We talk about if he's healthy, they're going to be in a different position. So he is the big deodorant for them. He covers up a lot of stuff, and he changes the way that we talk about this franchise. And I hope that if they miss the playoffs again, that he finds a way to Shawshank himself out of there. Because I know he gets paid handsomely to do what he does. I know that they have given him his 2 weapons, but I do not want to see Joe Burrow play for a franchise where he really has no chance to win.
But Kevin, he made his bed here. He made his bed, right? He signed the extension, which of course he did. And he also made sure that they signed 2 guys at high numbers who are awesome. Let's not get that twisted. But value-wise, in terms of building championship teams, you don't start outside in on offense.
Yeah, the Eagles paid Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Things seem fine there. They won the Super Bowl. So, I don't think that those 3 guys are the issue. The issue is
they signed them earlier, though.
Yes. That's what the Bengals should do. I think that there's a couple things about it. Number one, what's frustrating about the Bengals, it's not just that you bungle this with Trey Hendrickson and let him walk. It's that you haven't been drafting in a way that lets you do it. I mean, the Tampa Bay Rays analogy falls flat because the Rays always have another guy coming up behind the guy they let walk. That's the issue with the Bengals. Is that Shamar Stewart, the first-round pick last year, didn't show very much. Miles Murphy, their first-round pick a couple years ago, hasn't really popped. The pass rush just isn't going to be there. And I think that when Hendrickson, I know, when Hendrickson was healthy last year before the most recent one, he was the highest percentage of sacks of anybody in the league for his team. So what that means is basically he was the pass rush in Cincinnati, and now that's gone. And Joe Burrow needs a defense that's going to at least be average to put him in games so he can try to make the playoffs. He's not going to get that. And I ran into somebody recently, guys, who knows Joe Burrow really well. And they said, you know what really ticks me off is this narrative that Joe Burrow is falling out of love with football, or that he's, his fuel for the game is being lessened or whatever. Because he rushed back in what looked like a lost season when he was really banged up last year, and it was because he loves football. The problem is the Bengals don't love football as much as he loves football, and that, to me, you talk about the worst thing being wasted potential, Smalls. The worst thing is when you have a mismatch of goals and ambitions in football. Joe Burrow wants to win a Super Bowl, and the Brown family wants to run the Bengals the way they've always run it. Those goals are not aligned.
It's remarkable that if you look back to this past season, now that they have not tagged Trey Hendrickson, their stud defensive end, who's going to go somewhere else, and he basically told you a year ago, I don't want to be here anymore if you're not going to give me an extension. At the time of the trade deadline this past season, The Cincinnati Bengals were 3-6. They started the season 2-0. Joe Burrow was hurt. Joe Flacco had been acquired to be their starting quarterback after he was already with the Browns, and they chose to keep Trey Hendrickson, only to lose him for absolutely nothing. Every day on Get Up between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern Time, they have something called Sneaky Big News. I think we have that yesterday in the NFL. We'll discuss next.